Out there. I am your host, and we are back. I'm Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. It is the interview series that has been going for 8 years now. We have been bringing you almost 1,000 industry experts from across the globe. They help improve your personal life, they help grow your business. You've been following and loving and liking and sharing with us all of the things that you love about the show all these years. We want to thank you for watching. Today, our guest is Christoffel. I'm going to get the name right. It's a beautiful name, Christoffel.
Yeah.
And he is a visionary in unlocking human potential. He combines both the executive coaching piece as well as clinical hypnotherapy. So, maybe not the follow the watch and be under and psychotherapy, as well as groundbreaking three brains intelligence theory to inspire transformative growth and create a more connected, purpose driven world. This is a big mission he has on his
Yeah.
shoulders there. So the weight of the world, Christoffel. So tell us about how this has become your passion and your mission in life to achieve this.
Thank you so much for introducing me, Jessica. With such an energy and smile that it is hard not to just get enthusiastic. Now, I would say every pain sometimes creates a purpose in life, or your passion creates a purpose in life. For me, it's both. And from a really young age, I was interested in people and actually never understood where people are, say, not nice to each other. If you can smile, why won't you? If you can laugh, why won't you? And secondly, I was bullied at school, and I came really, according to the hard way, aware from that people are not nice people. So really that gave me that idea from how can we make this world a better place? And when you're young and enthusiastic, you just put it aside, think, oh, I have a job, I need a job, I need money. And even though I was working in software and education, because I've got a wider analytical brain, really my heart was always bouncing hard from why don't you do what really your passion is and connect with people. So a couple of years later, I really joined a training company that was on that moment #1 in Europe, how to lead people, train people for leaders, and to motivate them to get the best. And when I started doing that, I really had some oh wow, the home ship came home. Really, I touched base, and that's a lot. That's almost 30 years ago when I say that. Oh, and it really became my passion. First, I said in the business world, and when I emigrated to Australia almost 15 years ago, I also became a clinical hypnotherapist, psychotherapist. I really started to work with individuals who just suffered the backslash from life, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, and became alcoholic, or the kind of stuff. And I really saw what's happening here. And it really pushed me forward. Okay, we should do better as human beings as this world. It cannot happening that we have 50,000 planes flying a day around the world, that we have people on the moon, and we cannot even just provide a healthy environment for the people on Earth. And it really came even though I'm just maybe one drop in the ocean, a purpose, how can we do that? And the three brains intelligence theory actually became a result of that, because every time I had a question, what makes people tick? And if you go in there, you can learn neuro-linguistic programming, somatic training, constellations, Reiki. I did them all, by the way, really to become aware what makes us now change. Why don't we change actually? What keeps us now back? And from there, I became aware in all my courses and learning, something like 8 years ago, when I was doing somatic training, where's our subconscious? And I asked that question to my teacher, and it's like, yeah, it's somewhere in the body. Yes, but where in the body? And he
Mhm.
could not really give the answer, but in the same moment became aware, is the sentences in the training, just follow your heart. And I had some
Mhm.
like, raise my hand. What do you mean just follow your heart?
Mhm.
And it's the same as your gut feeling. And I thought,
Mhm.
what does that mean? And somewhere, you open your phone, you start Googling in, follow your heart, gut feeling. And somewhere I became aware of Michael Gershwin. And he wrote the book, The Second Brain. And it really describes the gut, the viscera, so actually everything underneath your diaphragm,
Mhm.
has 500 million brain cells. And it's like, what on beep? Why didn't I know that? Why does nobody know that? In the
Mhm.
same moment, I became aware of Heart Math, who talks about the heart brain, and thought from, why does nobody know that? And in that moment, someone said, a light bulb came up. We have a heart brain, 100,000 brain cells. We have a gut brain, 500 million brain cells. We have one in between our ears, 100 million brain cells, or 100 trillion brain cells, actually. Say that is true, and that would make sense. They're connected because we are one entity. And from
Mhm.
there, really, the three brains intelligence sparked on because they are connected, they have different responsibilities. And it gives an explanation why we keep stuck. Because sometimes we only listen to one brain.
Mhm.
And that leads us one way, while we maybe had to go to the other way, or maybe integrate those both visions to get somewhere. Now, that's my whole purpose-driven thing. And yeah, and that's it. And why do I love to be in your show? Because as you just said, you're one of the freaking amazing, awesome shows in this world who has a beautiful footprint in this world by informing people how to make this world a better place, how to get people from A to where they like to desire. So when somewhere I could be on your show, I said, I will do everything to get on her show. What should I do? Bring her a little box of chocolates, some flowers, or just say who I am. So here I am, Jessica, with my introduction.
So I'm in a book club for women, and we're doing a book right now that we meet on Friday morning. So
Yeah,
we met earlier today,
yeah,
and we're talking about aligning and embodying
yeah,
all of the mind, body, and spirit
yeah,
together, and coming together in it to have more input
yeah,
on our subconscious that runs 95 or more percent, or whatever the percentage
yeah,
is, I don't know, of what we actually
yeah,
do and the habits we actually
yeah,
have, and that whole process.
yeah,
So it's really fascinating to me that I get this amazing
yeah,
guest that knows so much about this topic, when this is something I'm constantly trying to work on, to be the best version of me, all the time.
yeah,
And you talked about earlier in your introduction too. You talked about the um, the having the passion
yeah,
for what you do, and how when
mm,
you went did
yeah,
this thing, this light bulb came on.
mm,
But I want the audience out there to realize um, that nothing is constant. That change and growth are happening, or
yeah,
regression, right? So
yeah,
you're either moving
yeah,
forward, or you're moving in some capacity,
yeah,
right? Um, and when you do find this thing that lights you
yeah,
up, it's not the end of the journey. It's a landmark. It's a big spot on the map. But what I have found in my own is, I remember years ago, almost 9 years ago, I went and taught this class, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, this is what I'm supposed to be
yeah,
doing. And it was for a while. And then I found something
yeah,
else. I was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be
yeah,
doing. And now I'm in a space in my life where I'm doing whole new things. So
yeah,
having someone like you in an executive's life, because a
yeah,
company is constantly changing and morphing
yeah,
their products, how they serve the customer, what's happening in the world, and is it relevant
yeah,
anymore? So however you're helping someone, whether it's an individual or a
mm,
corporation, they're in this state of change, and they need this kind of support, because we can stretch and really expand what we do, and also shorten the time
mm,
line of how fast we can achieve it. So when you work with someone like you, something that may have taken you 3 years may be accomplished in 6 to 8 months. I mean, it really is profound. So I love what you are doing. And I want to know why, with so many brain cells from heart and gut
Yeah.
and head, we are so many loving souls with very little common sense in the world.
That,
I'm just
I would say
joking. I'm just joking. I just,
no, but it's actually extremely good question. And say when you talk about your book club and say and align your mind, spirit, body,
Mhm,
and actually, yeah, to get that 95% of your subconscious somewhere working in the way you like to work, and
mhm,
then the three brains give say, I would say not the answer because then it would be the answer. But it gives an indication because your subconscious is actually your three brains in your physical body. Eh? Still, there's an
mhm,
energy and a spirit, but let's put it just for one moment outside because they're less. You have less control over them. Over your body, you have total control. And we talk about say every cell in your body has a memory. No, every cell in your body, yes, has a learning, but it cannot activate proactively.
mhm,
Every cell in your body can respond reactively to something they learned. Like just like your immune cells, your T cells learn from every infection you get. Your
mhm,
three brains actually, head, heart, gut, memorize but can take individual actions. So they can proactively do something. And they
mhm,
do that all the time. I say I love the example because it's so common for me. I thought, okay, I will get a tea. And I think I will take a chamomile tea. It's healthy for your stomach.
mhm,
I'm in the kitchen making a fresh chamomile tea. And I think, a chocolate would really be next to that. And on one moment, and then my mind says, chocolate, Chris, you just said healthy. And we can
mhm.
discuss the chocolate you're going to take, how healthy that is, because it's not 99% chocolate that has some other stuff in it. And right away you see then my gut says, yummy chocolate. I love chocolate. My head says, Chris, you just said healthy. So skip the chocolate. You have an internal discussion right away. And that makes also the alignment so hard. Our gut brain is all about now instant gratification, what is good for us. It really
Mhm,
thinks about me, myself, and I. It's a beautiful, egocentric brain. It likes to take the best care of you.
mhm,
Only the tools of your gut brain are food, liquids, sex, and other kind of pleasurable things. Because that's
mhm,
what your intestines do, digest
mhm,
or reproduce. Your heart is all about connection and bonding.
mhm.
Because we're born as connective human, bonding humans. We cannot live by ourselves. Our heart is really about bonding. Our head is all about logic. Now,
Mhm.
on your question, why with so many loving people in this world, we don't have a better world, is because actually, and the gut is still dominant in this world. If you go to
Mm,
the average schooling system, you see we have to learn to be the best, gut brain, competition, the best. We have to get actually cum sum laude. And
mhm,
in all the things we learn, we mark people in how good they are. And it's all gut brain. Because the good how they are is not about how good they are for each other in the class, but how good they are on their tests. And there is no test, hey, how good are you actually with your schoolmates? How many schoolmates or classmates did you actually help this year to become better?
mhm,
Now, there is no any test in school, except in Finland, how to become a better human being. There is school and education only educated how can you become smarter and compete with the rest and beat the rest. So we train the gut brain. MBA is the same. Go to the average company. It's all about me, myself, and I and corporate results and quarterly results and how can the shareholders make more money.
mhm,
And greenwashing is a word. Greenwashing is what companies do to say they're really environmental and human friendly to cover up what actually they just think about how much money can we make. So there's a
mhm,
huge disconnect in what we say and what we do. And yes, Jessica, you, me, and a lot of other people have their heart in front of them,
mhm.
but the heart actions are long term. Gut brain is always short term. And
Mhm.
pitifully, short term wins from long term. Because you
Mhm.
can measure a 3-quarter result, but the 10-year result, yeah, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
so so those things are there. Uh, if you say not to put them there, but look at now, you can discuss climate change if it's true or not. The climate is changing. Who's in charge of that? We can discuss. But if you look at something that is really visible and showable, even on satellites, is the plastic pollution in the sea.
Mhm.
Now, there is enough plastic pollution to create an island bigger than actually California, or the state, and put some of Texas on top of it, and that's dry. That's in the sea. Everybody can see it from the satellites.
Mhm.
Everybody could know what the solution is. Recycle plastic, make recyclable plastic, and whatever's.
Mhm.
All those soda companies say, "Oh, we are really environmental friendly." By the way, we just produced a new factory that can produce 1 million plastic bottles a day. By the way,
Mhm.
we're not responsible actually for recycling the bottles as a soda company from Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, and all this kind of stuff. No, that's the final consumer.
Mhm.
We just produce the crap and make you responsible for actually getting rid of the crap.
Mhm.
So if you look at it, then it's you and me who think, okay, let's recycle that bottle, but the producers don't care about it. So there's a lot of disconnect in what we say and what we do. And that
Mhm.
makes it hard.
It does. So tell me, so you're working with executives and individuals. Tell me some of the ways you're doing that. So are you going in keynoting? Are you doing in-person workshops? Are you doing virtual one-on-one? Are you doing virtual group? Is it an online course? What are the different ways that you're serving your customers?
I would almost say tick all of them above. That's almost true. Same, my main thing, because I only have 24 hours in a day, is
Mhm.
delivering training for coaches and leaders. And I call it three brains coach certification.
Mhm.
So I train people, one, how they have three brains. Secondly, how they have actually different responsibilities. That people start listening to their own brains. And where you were talking about this morning, your book club about aligning, and learn them to align and to listen and think, hey, wow, my gut is saying A. Hey, my heart is saying B. Oh, wow, they have different opinions. And also from there, to coach people and coach as a coach or coach as a leader or a manager. How do you deal with your employees? To come
Mhm.
aware which brain is talking, also for the clients or for the colleagues, so they come aware, hey, now you're more from your heart, more from your gut, more from your head, to get you say the best person you are. Let's
Mhm.
align them so we can get there. So I train people in that, and why I love the training, because if I train a manager, he has at least 10 people underneath them, and
Mhm.
that's then 10 people maybe also have 10 people, so I can influence 1,000 people right away.
Mhm.
I still also do one-on-one with executives because I just love it.
Mhm.
Also still work with individuals who just coming with the personal issues that can come from an PTSD trauma experience on to almost there, Chris, do you still do stop smoking or stop drinking? Because that's really an issue for me. And most
Mhm.
times there's an underlying issue why they keep on doing that.
Mhm.
So I still do it. And yes, I also wrote a book. I'm busy with a new book
Mhm.
actually to bring it out because as you know, the cheapest way to learn is or to listen to your podcast or to buy a book for 10 euros or to $10.
Mhm.
And that's why I also put it out there because so that people can choose their opportunities. What's the best way for me to learn? Hey, I listen to Jessica because she's freaking amazing, awesome. Oh, or buy a book of Christoffel because it's only 10 euros, okay, or $10. That's easy. Or
Mhm.
okay, I really want to dive into learn more. Let's see in one-to-one or follow the training. So it's the whole scope.
Mhm.
And yeah, and that's it. So yes, almost everything. So that's it, Jessica.
And
Do you have a
tell
little
us
bit short back because I see you're moving? You have a little bit
I'm
short.
standing. Yeah, I'm
Oh, you're
standing.
standing. You
Yeah,
stretch
I
yourself.
have a walking pad too that
Ah,
when I'm not interviewing, I'm often
yeah,
walking
yeah,
because we're in front of our computer so very
yeah.
much. I
Yes.
need to keep my body moving.
Yeah, absolutely. It's extremely important what you say because the moment you start really to sit too much, you really
Yeah.
change a lot of your body posture. So you're really doing a good job on that.
Yeah, thank you. Tell us how they can find you. Give us your website or some ways they can find you.
And I would say it's extremely easy. Just think about, he spoke all the time about three brains. It's threebrainsintelligence.com. Yeah, so we have emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and you have three brains intelligence. Threebrainsintelligence.com. You search that, you put it in
That's the
Google.
number 3. So if you're
That's the
listening,
number 3. Yeah, really
that's
the
the number 3.
number 3, brainsintelligence.com. But if you type in threebrainsintelligence.com, probably you find the same. And the link is there. So that's easy. And then you find me and all the information you like to have, from free webinars, podcasts, free resources, of course, my book, and even the connection to get on a training if you like.
Now, give us a tip. We've had lots of information from you. You've given us lots of training already and shared beautiful things about our body and our minds. But could you give everyone a tip that they could use today?
So just imagine, what's the easiest one? And it sounds sometimes strange, but so easy. Say you like to do something, then I always say to people, put your 2 hands, or 1 hand, but 2 hands somewhere, just put them on your tummy and really ask yourself, almost with your eyes closed, what do I really want? What would say I would follow my gut, what would I do? And you can really come aware almost what your gut is saying, or what kind of sensations you get. You can do the same with your hands on your heart, and ask the same, say I would follow my heart, what would I do? And you feel something. And the same, you can ask you ask a beautiful head, you can put your hands on your head, you don't have to. If I think about this logically, and then follow my logic, what would I do? You will come aware, you get 3 different sensations or answers. And it gives a lot of clarity, actually, to align yourself and do things. I do it a lot of times in my trainings or in coachings, and people say, my objective is for 2025, I actually want to say, if they say live healthier, I said make it more concrete, because live healthier, you have so many ways to make it concrete. Say, I'm going to eat every day, I'm going to eat some vegetables. To really make it concrete. And they say it here, and their gut says, you wish. So already, you wish. Oh, wow. Your heart says, oh, that would be so good for me. Your head says, oh, on heaven's earth, I'm going to arrange that, because I'm not used of making veggies. So why do we come over? Hey, so your gut actually doesn't believe it, that you have somewhere maybe the resilience from somewhere. So then it's okay, what should I do to make it happen? Because that idea you have doesn't always work out. So you have to, when I talk about how to make something happening, it's not about that you say, I wish, I like, but you have to really get something like a really strong belief that you're going to do it. And so you also have to create a why. Why would you like to eat vegetables every day? Oh, wow, yes, now I really like to enhance my health, or I like to reduce my cholesterol, or whatever. So you have to find a compelling reason. And the moment you find that compelling reason, you add it to it, and your 3 brains get much more aligned. And I did it once with a guy I was coaching, and he was living where I'm living in Madrid, Spain. And he said, Chris, but it is so hard. I said, why don't we do shopping together? And he said, why not? And we went into one of those big shopping malls, and we're walking through the aisles. And he said, okay, I think I'm going to grab that one. I said, okay, when you grab that one, hold it in your hands, put your hand in your tummy, say, do I really like to have now? And read out what was there. It was something like a cereal with 45% sugars in it. And he put his hands on his gut. Do I like to eat this? And really, he almost had a choking response. Oh, I don't know what happened, but a choking response, Chris. Okay, put it on your heart. And he said, oh, wow, I feel sad now. And I said, on your head, I said, yeah, if I read what's in it, it doesn't make sense. I said, what do you learn from this? He said, actually, my whole body says, don't do it. And he said, but I already buy this for the last 4 years. And you hear them almost. I said, so what would you decide now? And he said, now I'm going to put this back and I'm going to walk somewhere else. He said, but how does this happen? I said, now you actually start listening to your body, what your body wants. What's good for you. So we went on, and we ended up, say, in a healthy cereal, and he was at the counter to pay, and he said, Chris, what I now have in my chopping chart, I never had in that. I never had those kind of stuff. What happened with me now? So now for the first time, you aligned your three brains and start listening to your own body and your own needs, what your body says to buy. He said, yeah, but there is no sugar, no other kind of stuff or cupcakes or things in my. He said, no, your body doesn't want that. But your body doesn't want to have cupcakes. And he sent me a couple of months later an email. And he said, Chris, you don't know what happened with me. I already lost 5 kilos. I feel much more energized, much more fit. And actually in my work, I do this with all my colleagues and my clients. And my team performance went up for 25%. In 3 months, I said, I don't know what kind of magic you did with me, but something totally changed in me. And actually, the only thing it did is what you did this morning, Jessica, really aligning your three brains in your body.
Well,
so
and I would say one thing to that is when you have made a decision and you have gotten this alignment, you are starting to listen to yourself, realize that you're going to have a day where you eat the chocolate. And what I have been doing and I actually had a day like that yesterday where I had some chocolates came in the house, it's Christmas time, and I had the chocolate and I said, okay, well, what can I do and my support system around me do so that I don't, I can, and it really is, the magic really is taking that pause before you take the action. If we can just put pause, music is beautiful because there are pauses in the right places. And our life can be more like a music beautiful if we find the places that we need to pause first, because then we make a different decision altogether.
You're so right. You make a different decision. And to add on that, what you just said, the moment you start doing that exercise, because that's what he said, is that, Chris, in the beginning, I had to put my hand on my tummy, on my heart, and people said, what the hell are you doing? He said, now, after 3 months doing that, they speak out loud in myself. I don't have to put my hand on my tummy anymore, but it's almost like my gut is telling me, no, no, or my heart is saying, yes, yes. He said, so I have almost 3 voices inside my body that communicate. So I said that pause, what I needed first as something like 20 seconds is now almost half a second. So you train yourself to get that pause shorter. And the beauty is your body sometimes will tell you, Jessica, just take the chocolate because on this moment you need it. Because also chocolate actually does enhance your serotonin and makes you happier. That's something else as eating the whole chocolate bar, because that doesn't make you healthy anymore. Because then your gut says, oh, wow, we got an overflux of sugar and of cacao butter, and that's really not healthy for me anymore because my liver is now making overtime. But 1 or 2 pieces are on this time awesome and great. Chocolate is a real medicine if you take it, say, in the most pure form or the less thing. But even just, say, an other kind of chocolate is amazing. But your body will give you an idea. Sometimes your body says, just give me some salted peanuts. And maybe you said, oh, salted peanuts are not healthy. But in that moment, your body needs those nutritions that also peanuts have. And maybe it needs some salt. But if you really start listening to your body will say what it needs. But you really have to start really clear listening without the judgment. Oh, what are you saying now? But start being curious. What is your body or your heart and gut really telling you? And they will give you beautiful directions.
Well, and also your brain is great because, for example, one of the solutions I have for when I do, because it's not often for me to really want something sweet, but just occasion. And your brain can come up with a solution for that. Where I found the amazing recipe that is actually, it's a form of fudge, but it's made with black beans and the sweetener in it is dates, and pure the cocoa. And it's delicious and smooth and wonderful. And I make a batch, I freeze it and only have the little bit, but it's still a much better solution than some of the processed other things.
Absolutely. Dates is the best sugar. Again, there's one thing about, say, food, because we talk now about food. So your gut can say, to make it simple, 2 things about eating. One, because the body needs it. It needs the nutrition, it needs the value, and it can even be sugar. Or the other one is, I need it to soothe myself, based, say, on a void or a pain we have. And when I work, say, with so many clients in Australia, I saw that half of the people who wanted to have a weight loss with me actually had a traumatic experience. And based on the traumatic experience, the gut said, okay, I'm going to help you. And by the way, the help is chocolate, wine, beer, Chardonnay, red wine, and all kind of stuff. Ben and Jerry therapy, ice cream therapy, and all those therapies, because the gut, that's the tool from the gut to make you feel happy. So also when you listen to your own gut, listen, why do you need it? Do you need it to feed the body with nutrition, or do you need to feed me because I feel sad, sorry, emotional? The moment the gut says, I'm going to feed you because you are emotional, then the answer is no. Because then you need something else. Then you need actually to work on the emotion. So I'd just like to add on that, because people, oh yes, my body just said eat a chocolate bar, Chris. You just said it's good. No. Ask first, why would you like to give me this? Is it for nutrition, or is it actually for soothing and pain, avoid a sadness and emotion? And that makes a massive difference. Eh? And I just like to say it because Christmas, Hanukkah, and all those eating festivals are coming to us, to really be aware, what is your really body telling you? Eh? What is the reason it wants to do it? And if you get that answer clear, and adding what you just said, Jessica, that pause in there. Okay, let's pause. What does my body really tell me? Nutrition's, or does it like to fill an emotional gap? Fill an emotional gap. Okay, pause again. What can I do instead of eating the whole ice cream bucket empty for that? And then life becomes easy. Easier. Let's make it easier.
Yes. And on the topic of food, one last time, the other great thing that's been helping me is having a plan. So you do know all these holidays and festivals are coming. You do know things are coming. And we're Italian family, and I'm
Oh,
making
yes.
big lasagna for the family for Christmas because that's what they want, and I'm making all these things. Well, I also made for myself and put in the freezer, and I'll pull out later when it's time for Christmas.
Yeah.
Is I made spaghetti squash,
Yeah.
instead. So I'll have squash, and
Mm,
I'll have a little sauce, and I'll
mm,
have a little salad, and so I'll still eat with my
mm,
family, but I have a plan
yeah.
so that I don't overdo it and then
Yeah.
just feel bad and beat myself up the next day. So having a plan for the things, for your goals that you're trying, whether it's food
Yeah.
or work
Yeah.
or whatever your goals are, um, is going to help you too, especially as you know things are coming that might
Yeah.
derail you from your
Yeah.
achievements.
Absolutely. A plan is bringing your head in with the logic, what is healthy to do. Eh? I
Mm-hmm.
always say to people, especially in holiday season, I put 3/4 of the food on my plate. But it
Mm-hmm.
gives me all the opportunity to take a second plate of something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I really choose deliberately to eat less of a plate. So I
Mm-hmm.
can always choose for dessert, because I also love the desserts and all this kind of stuff. But there's still space. Instead of stuffing your whole plate full and I think, oh, there's still dessert. Okay, I can still stuff something extra on it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's actually the logical what you say, the plan you have to make.
And
And
smaller plates,
yes,
smaller
smaller,
plates.
yeah, also helps.
All the tricks, all
Yeah, no, yeah,
the things that help.
they're logical things that you can plan
Yeah.
before yourself.
Yes.
And it's easier to say to somebody, okay, just yes, I have enough on my plate. That's easier to say than not, and start
Yeah.
eating it. And that's always good. Okay, and if you have less on your plate, you can always take a second plate. And by the way, do you know what's in me? Like, you're from Italian family.
Yeah.
I'm from a Jewish Christian family, so I know the eating festivals.
Yes.
So, and it's the best compliment you can give to the cook or to your mom or to whatever,
Yes.
to have a second plate.
Yeah.
So it's better to have less on your plate so you can take a second plate. Because then
Mm.
mommy says, oh, you love my food, you take a second plate. Yes, I love
Yes.
your food, mommy. I get a second plate. Instead of having a full plate, because mama only counts the number of plates, not how much you put on your plate.
Well, the other thing that helps is also telling someone that you love that you have this goal, you have this plan, or working with someone like you is why that's such a benefit, because when you say it out loud and you make a commitment, especially to your support community, if you
Yeah,
happen to have that in your
yeah,
family, that's wonderful because they'll
yeah,
cheer you on in the right direction,
yeah,
especially if you have a healthy relationship and not
yeah,
make you feel bad about it. So
yeah.
that's very good.
Yeah, so we right away discussed all the solutions actually for now all the holiday festivals we have,
That's right.
but also engage the three brains. Eh? Ask the gut brain the why do you like to put so much on your plate or in my
Yeah.
mouth, and why is it? Nutrition's or for filling an emotional gap, and even your family is an emotional gap. Eh? I like to please mommy or cousin, so I'm going to put more on my plate. Okay, so that's an emotional reason. What could be a rational reason for that? And bring the head in. Rational reason is, hey, mommy, cousin, I love your food. Put me a little bit less on my plate so I can take a second plate or even something else because I love your food. I like to taste everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense.
It
Those
does. It makes
questions.
a lot of sense. So, how about one of my other favorite things we've done
Mm,
since our first episode
uh,
is you get typing out there, you
yeah,
watching, you already know.
yeah,
We're going to talk about a cause that's close to your heart. So, if you type out in the chat, maybe a
mm,
cause you started yourself
mm,
or one you
mm,
love to support, and
mm,
you hit that share button, we might inspire someone to give time, treasure, or talent to the cause you love and care about, or maybe
yeah,
even to Christoffel's a cause that he cares
yeah,
about, or maybe we'll just remind them, oh yeah, they have a cause they love, and we'll
yeah,
inspire someone to do something kind today, and that would make our show the best show ever. So, what's
yeah.
a cause that you care about?
It's always the Salvation Army. Yeah, I can type
Ah,
it out.
yes,
Salvation Army. And why is
yes,
that? Because
Salvation Army, yes.
why we all know it, but it doesn't mean we all
Mhm.
contribute or help them. And those
That's
people
true.
do so much good without any self-interest in there. They just help the less fortunate.
Hmm.
And in all ways it is. And especially now, and I was talking about it was a friend who lives in San Diego. And he said, Chris, do you know how many homeless people there are now on this moment on the streets? I said, I don't know. I said, but don't give me a number because probably I'm going to cry. Uh,
Hmm.
And and the Salvation Army is there. And the
Hmm.
Salvation Army gives a lot of support to a lot of things. And it also, I come aware, and I will discuss with somebody else, giving gives also you a good feeling. And if you give something to the Salvation Army, if it's now your second-hand clothes or the couch you don't use in your living home anymore or your refrigerator, it gives a good feeling to give something. So I really love those people of the Salvation Army, and that's just one. I can call five other ones. Also say the
Yeah.
all the shelters for animals.
Hmm.
All the
Yeah.
animal shelters is the second one I always have on my
Mhm.
list because everybody loves puppies and little cats or little dogs. And if they become a little bit more adult, then they push them away again like they are just a replaceable. And those animal shelters do so much good
Hmm.
and put so much humanity in that part. So I could not choose Jessica. So excuse me for that, but those are I say in my heart always because one they do good for the people, the other ones do really good for the animals. And actually, I have to say, if you like to see if somebody is really good, see how they treat animals.
Hmm. Well, and animals are also very therapeutic,
Yeah,
just being
absolutely.
around them and petting them, and that
Yeah,
engagement and
yeah.
animals can be very healing for
It,
you.
it,
So,
it it is the research. There's a lot of research done. The moment you start petting your cat or your dog, your cortisol levels actually decrease. So everything that causes stress in your body goes down. Your
mhm.
serotonin and your dopamine actually rises up. So you create more happiness and relaxation yourself. It's the cheapest therapy you can do. Start cuddling your pet.
That's right.
Is that,
That's right.
and actually, it also releases oxytocin. That's comes from the heart, and that's the cuddling and the love thing. So those two I have there. So you can choose Jessica whatever you like. But those two are in my heart.
We have had many pets over the years. We have seven
Yeah.
children and
Ah,
eight grandchildren. And in the seven children, we've had lots of dogs and
yeah,
hamsters and cats and bunnies
yeah,
and birds and lizards.
yeah,
And then we have nothing for a long
mm,
time. We had nothing because they
yeah,
all
mm,
passed
yeah,
away. And went to doggy heaven or pet heaven.
yeah,
And recently a few months ago we adopted a cat that actually adopted us. It just showed up a stray. We had all the things done for it, and we named her Meow Meow Jingles. So
Awesome. Yeah,
so we have a new pet
yeah.
in the house. So we love the pets also. Now share with us, and this is something else you out there watching can get
Yeah.
typing into the comments, is if you have a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business. You don't have to get typing, Christoph.
Oh,
We get everyone
no.
else out there
Okay.
typing away in the
I,
comments.
I
Uh,
listen right away to Jessica. Start
I
typing. I
know
start
you follow
typing.
directions. No, I'm telling all you out there
Yeah.
watching, get
Yes.
typing in the comments and share with us so that when you hit that share button or
Yeah.
someone else does, they might learn
Yeah.
about the book that inspired you. So tell us about a book that inspired your life.
Yeah. Uh, there's one book that I almost always say that inspired me is The Alchemist from Paolo Coelho. I don't know
Mm,
if you ever read it. The Alchemist
I
is
don't
a
think so.
storytelling book about a shepherd in Spain who gets a vision to go to the pyramids of in Egypt because he will find his treasure there. And the whole book's about the journey he makes as a shepherd to sell his sheep, to go to Morocco, and from Morocco to Egypt. And he meets, say, a master, a spiritual master who guides him and gives him all the lessons of life. And it's a beautiful, easy written book, but it has a lot of inspiration about, say, life, about following the signals you get in your life, how to
Mm,
deal with setback, follow your heart, follow your instinct, and don't give up, resilience, but in a way that is written that is just, no, it is beautiful.
mm,
And I never met somebody who read the book and said, "Oh, that's crap." It's really something like an inspirational book. And the other one is still, I love it, The Little Prince.
yes.
Yeah,
Read
people
this
say
with
listen.
my children.
People
Yeah,
say that's a child book. No, it's not a child book.
it's a good book.
Read it with different eyes. It has a similar kind of context about the meaning of life. So those
Hmm.
two are there, and the third one is, and that's almost more a learning book, is The Man's Meaning of Viktor Frankl, who writes actually about his experience in the Second World War in the concentration camps, about,
Mm,
say, now existentialism and how people can make choices between being a good person and not being a good person, and what drives us in life, and what's the meaning of life. And that's not a book you just read from, oh, let's read a novel. It's more a learning book, but it gives his personal journey, what happened to him in the Second World War. So it also shows from what people can do to each other, but also then
mm,
from a perspective, how do people make choices and how can we make better choices? What inspires us to become a better human? And I find it always inspiring book because I think, he had to be there in that camps. He had to survive it as a
mhm,
cause to give it to us, to the world, what happened.
mhm.
And that's also an inspiration in that part. And those are actually now three books. I could not choose from one because then it is so people can listen to us and say, "Oh wow, okay, I like to have more a learning book. I like to have more an inspiration book. Hey, I like to have a book that I also can read for my kids because the kids love The Little
Yeah,
Prince."
that's a good
So
one.
so you have for all your audience you have something. Oh, the parents for The Little Prince, me for an inspirational book, The Alchemist, and I like to learn something. Let's go to The Man's Meaning, Viktor Frankl, and they have all the books that are there. And if you read them all, there's only one risk: you will become a better human. So if you don't like to become a better human, don't start reading them.
Well, and now another book we can talk about is your book. Talk to us about your book some more.
Okay, so in my passion, what you said, what do you do? I said I did everything. I also wrote a book. I'm dyslexic, so that was rather a journey. But I had once a client who I helped from being an alcoholic and from a traumatic experience that she had an abortion and sexual abuse. And she said, "Chris, you have to put it in a book." And I still remember, said, I cannot write. I'm dyslexic. And she almost slapped me through my own room. She said, "So you make me stop drinking 2 bottles of wine. You get me over my sexual abuse. You get me over my traumatic experience that I had an abortion. And now you're going to say you have a limiting belief not writing a book?" And I thought, oh, now, I thought, oh, shoot, I don't have any excuse anymore. So I started to write it. But she said, write it with a passion to engage people about how three brains can make everything better. So write it about relationships. Yeah, that makes sense. So I wrote the book, Relationships, Which Brain is Talking?
Mhm.
And it's about, you could say, personal relationships, but actually about every relationship in your life and how your three brains actually make a relationship amazing, or make it, say, something that you should have been divorcing already from day one, but you kept in it for a couple of years. That gives
Mhm.
you actually a blueprint how to deal with relationships, how to make good relationships, and what are your own pitfalls in making relationships. Are you too much gut, too much heart, too much head brain dominant? That
Mhm.
actually steers you to a specific kind of relationship that is maybe not the best for you on the long run.
Right.
And and everybody who follows my training has to read that book. Otherwise, I don't bring up the sales. Yeah, so I'm not kidding. But the funny part is they always have to, oh, I have to read the book. And then they ask me, but Chris, this is more about coaching and about leadership. Why a book about relationships? And everybody who reads it said, Chris, this book is just freaking amazing. I read it and I now understand why I had actually breakup with that person. Now I understand why this colleague and I have an issue. Now I understand actually what I have to do to get that colleague or employee engaged. Now I know how to deal better with my boss. Now I know actually what I have to do with my kids.
Mhm.
Why does not, and then they say, ask me, why does not everybody read this book? I said, yeah, that's a good question. Maybe you should put it on LinkedIn, Facebook, on Instagram by yourself and start saying that to everybody instead of asking me. But it is the best compliment I get because it makes them aware, oh, wow, I can transform myself to have better and healthier relationships. And that's, now, uh, again, that is so much good because when you look at statistics, more than 30% of kids have an insecure attachment in America.
Mhm.
And it means that they don't really can trust their parents, what they say or do. And it doesn't mean all the parents are messed up because we all have our own history. We all have our own baggage on our shoulders. We can have the best intentions and still do something wrong.
Mhm.
By reading this book, we can bring that number down and create a healthier world. Because also educating kids actually means, hey, which brain of me is talking? What do I do actually with my kids in educating them? Now, you have already 7 kids and so many grandkids. So for
Mhm.
us, and I have also 3 adult kids, it's maybe a little bit too late. But for all those others, it's amazing.
No,
And
I
my
don't think
three,
it's too late because even my relationships with my
yeah,
adult children
yeah,
continue to
yeah,
change. My relationships with my
yeah,
grandchildren are growing, you
yeah.
know. So I
So
think it's
true.
never too late.
You're absolutely right. So true. And my oldest son has 2 kids. His youngest one is just a couple of months, and he read my book. And he's a school teacher. Said, "Dad, your book resonates so much how I teach the kids at school and what I do at home already." He said, "But
Mm,
I said, but for me it was easy because you were actually my parent, and you always lived what you say. Yeah, you say what you do, and you do what you say. So there is no second part of you." I said so, and luckily luckily you did a good job. How do you mean luckily? But here's why, because just like you, I always believed if I'm honest and I say what I do and I do what I say, I don't have to remember actually what kind of little story I tell them. So for
Yeah.
me, it's actually, and it is and was a strategy to make life simple for myself. I say
Mm,
A, I do B.
mm,
So A is A, B is B. And I said, so for me, I learned it actually from day one. I said,
mm,
but if I look at my parents from the school kids I have and those people, they really
mm,
should read all your book and come aware. This is how it should be. Do what you say what you do. Make it
mm,
easy. Don't ask anybody else to do something what you would not do by yourself. Those
mm,
simple logical rules. And if you think about your 3 brains, it just makes sense.
mhm.
So you're right. So we as a grandparent can also actually use this book because our relationship with our kids does change. Yeah, because
Mm,
there's, I don't know if you, my kids stay my kids,
mm.
although they're adults. Yeah, but we talk different to them.
Yeah, it's a different
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and it's difficult to make that transition
yeah,
sometimes. So we have to work at it and we have to be aware and we have to think
yeah,
about it. So,
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
very good. Very good. It's been lovely having
Well,
you on the show. I've enjoyed interviewing and hearing your story
mm,
so very much. Thank you for being here. I hope you've had a good time.
yeah, I loved it, Jessica, and I love that all your listeners, besides listening to you and this episode, of course, really take that action and say, hey, I just got an inspiration to make my life, the life of my loved ones, and maybe the people I influence better. Let's listen just what Jessica and Christoffel said to us. Maybe buy the book of him. It's only $10. And really start working on ourselves to make this world, for me, a better place. Because I don't know how it was you, but my deepest wish is that my grandkids, and also your grandkids and everybody's grandkids, will have a better world to live in than we started.
Yeah, for sure.
And we are partly responsible for that. So, and if you true of that, if you have the same wish for your own kids and grandkids, please join Jessica and me in a little quest to make this world a little bit better place.
Absolutely. And if you're out there and you're thinking, hey, wait, I could improve someone's personal life. I could grow someone's business. I'm an author. I should be on this show. Well, reach out to us and our team, and we'll see about getting you scheduled on the show as well. And now, before we close out today, I would love for you to share with us a final thought, a piece of information or inspiration as we go. What do you have for us?
Me?
Yeah.
Ask me? Okay, yeah, before you say if it's the inspiration, just one thing. This year I had an open heart surgery because one of my heart valves is actually genetically wrong. Little gift from my dad. And we all know life is precious. We all know that when you are lying in a hospital, actually like to have your friends and family around you and you don't care a beep about how much you have in your bank account. We all know it. And I knew it and lived to it. And living even more to it. When we have the holiday season there and you look at all the people around your table, then just say to them, I love you. And really start loving them and start saying it, because you never know when it's too late when you have to say that to them. And of course, that also means say it to yourself. Say to yourself, I love you, because we all know what is imperfect from us, according to the media and all the social media that surround us, how we should be perfect in our shape or body or mind. But love yourself with all your beautiful imperfections, because all those imperfections make you perfect.
Yeah, if you love yourself, then you can love others better. So
absolutely.
For sure. Thank you again for being on the show. And thank you all of you for watching and sharing and commenting and being a part of our community and our world. And until next time, be kind to yourself out there and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.